The video for June 15th, 2017 is titled, Trying to Decipher Info from Disinfo. Aristo spoke in the previous video about the manipulation of common sense. True. But for me, the problem we face is trying to determine what is true and what is false from the myriad of information that bombards us every day. Yes, I long ago determined that if it's on mainstream news, there is a high probability that it is mostly disinformation. They lie all the time. Don't we know that? The internet has a mix of truth and error. Yet what I would like to be true does not seem to become tangible reality. Some say the entire manifest world is false. Yet this is the world we actually experience. It doesn't matter to me if matter is scientifically empty space. It is still solid and real from the human perspective. Is the only solution to the manifest world the dissolution of physical reality? Am I the only one that struggles with this enigma? Yes, I laid in bed this morning and finally got up around 5 o'clock and was pondering what to make my video about. And I really wasn't coming up with anything. I had a myriad of ideas go through my head and lots of thoughts. And then I thought, well, maybe I can make a video with Steve, sort of passing the buck. But then later on, toward the time I had to go pick up my granddaughter and take her to her violin class, I came up with this title and the blurb, and decided, no, when I get home, when the sun is high enough in the sky, I'll go ahead and make my video, which is what I'm doing now. But I have been struggling for a very long time. I went back recently and I listened to one of my videos from 2011, and I realized then I was still buying into the thing that everything is an illusion, that nothing is real, but yet human experience is real. It's real experience. Whether anything else is true about it or not, it is what we actually experience. And I watched a video by David Icke, or a portion of one of his talks, in which he again emphasizes the fact that we are infinite, an infinite being, and that, again, this is just an illusion. And this has been a common thread throughout many metaphysical and spiritual groups, not so much fundamentalist groups, but some of the alternatives. It has been a dominant idea that everything is just an illusion. True. It may be just an illusion, albeit a persistent one that we deal with every single day. And I listened to my video from 2011, and I'm not there anymore. I'm not there of saying everything is okay. That's been part of the problem. We have allowed everything to be okay. We come up with this idea that it's all in perfect divine order, which abdicates of us of any responsibility to do something about it. Now, I'm not saying we should go and kill people, or even the protesting is often a waste of time and energy. But how do we come together? David Icke suggested that if we all came together and demanded the truth, the liars would be put out of business. But how do we all come together when we've been brainwashed and when we've all been convinced that our unique perspective is the only right one, and we have to fight against everybody that has a different perspective or is looking at it from a different angle? So it creates a constant cacophony of noise that absolutely cannot create harmony, cannot create peace, cannot create love. It's a dissonance that we have to deal with rather than any semblance of sanity. It's an insane world, in other words, that we live in. And how to get out of it is certainly a challenge. If we could have done it at any time, don't you think we would have done it already? I mean, how long has this been going on? I suggest it's at least for millennia, thousands of years. This has been going on. We've been recycling the same old BS over and over and over again. And do we ever get anywhere? Does anything ever change? Some people come and they remember past lives, but most of us have a total absence of remembrance of anything that ever went before, even though we might be intellectually convinced that we live infinitely, that we are eternal beings. Even though we might be convinced of that, we still don't have any cognizance or remembrance or any tangible ability to change anything. That's why I keep saying it requires divine intervention. Now, the divine intervention can come by empowering us, by helping us to remember who we are. And remembering just isn't something that is in the memory, but it's actually bringing back the members that have been dissected and split apart over many generations and lifetimes and whatever, so that we can become whole again. For the first time, perhaps. We're all part of God? Okay, we're all part of God. But does that mean that we're responsible when we've had our talents, gifts, and abilities erased and stripped away from us so that we don't remember what we have the ability to do and who we actually are? In other words, having the ability to actually be who we are. It's an enigma, to say the least. It's a dichotomy that is very hard to reconcile, at least for me, in my mind and my spirit. Yes, there are times in meditation and times in my contemplation that I, at least for a period of time, feel very at one. The atonement is working in those moments, but then I forget. I get carried away with the routines of daily life and the challenges that I have to face, not just myself, but we all have to face them. And we get easily sidetracked into things that are not really that important. And a whole bunch of our stuff is the cell phone, the TV, all of the technology is geared to keep our focus away from who we are. And if we could only answer the question, who am I, we'd probably have a big step forward. But if we come up with who am I am a Jew, or who am I am a Christian, or who am I am a Buddhist, who am I am a Muslim, who am I am a Hindu, who am I am an atheist. These are not who we are. These are just simply belief systems that have been superimposed upon our psyche so that we choose this or that. But this or that aren't even the choices. The only question to answer is, who am I really? And if what David Icke says is true, that we are infinite beings having a temporal experience, well, then how do we fix the temporal experience so that it is loving, so that it is kind, so that it is not nonsensical, but the opposite, so that it is cohesive and works for a common good, the common good being the good of everyone, not one group over another, not some elite establishment, but all of us uplifted and benefited by the recognition that this is who we are, and we need to come together and to stop the lies and those that lie to us, and transform the liars, if possible, into those that can love, because liars cannot love. They're too embedded in the lie. And so it makes it almost impossible for them to have compassion, because they've lied to themselves that they are something other than what they really are. They don't admit the human reality. And I think we have to begin with admitting the human reality, or we're not going to change it. Anyway, thank you folks for listening again, and namaste.